Hello folks, Rich here. How you doing? Novice noise maker. Oh, sound like Joe Biden then. I just got back from Rome. It was 35 to 38 degrees. Ridiculous. I was sat down having a meal with my beautiful wife, celebrating our anniversary, and even though I was out of the sun, outdoors, it felt like the sun was on my legs. It was roasting. There was one street and there was a pharmacy and a little flashy sign, and it was said read 44 at one point in amongst all the buildings. Anyway, I digress. Hello, Baseline in Blue, if you're watching. This is a video to help anyone who's looking to send a guitar, or anything else for that matter, in a post or selling. I'm going to specifically pick on eBay and specifically about packaging. Now, to give you context, I've owned 200 guitars, and of those ones that I've sold, I must have sold and posted at least 50 of those. Prior to that, I had a golf club problem, and I have sold and posted about 70 golf bags and probably 300 golf clubs. Yeah, if not more, including sets and individual ones, drivers with graphite shafts. So packaging wise, hopefully another thing or two. And ironically, I was a warehouse and logistics manager years ago, so boxes and packaging was everywhere. So in terms of where I sell my gear, I still sell more things on eBay than anywhere else. Facebook Marketplace is okay, there's lots of scammers, but you do need someone who's prepared to collect, or if you're going down the PayPal route and they're going to pay, you know, there's a trust thing involved there. So it's okay, but it's far from the utopia. The Reverb website, I know Metal Alex, hi Metal Alex, if you're there, he's got his own little shop on there. I've not had any success on Reverb myself, and the fees are a bit less than eBay. So that's that. Gumtree's a waste of time, don't even consider it. So yeah, unless there's any other forums, you kind of left, sometimes the groups. So the Chapman user group, I've sold 4 guitars through that. So if you're on a user group for the type of guitar you're into, that might help for you. But generally eBay, much as it pains me, because as a seller, you're not protected at all. They're fucking arseholes. If you send anything and the other person says, I just didn't receive it, or it's broken, or not happy with it, they don't have to provide any evidence at all, and eBay just sides with them. There's something in the law, I'm sure, but it's a pain as a seller. As a buyer, of course, it's completely the opposite. And I've been stung, not on guitars, but certainly on golf clubs back in the day on this a few times. But that's by the by. And I think the fees on eBay are still 13.75%, so it's quite a big hit. However, sadly, everybody knows it, and it's got national reach and potentially international reach as well. So eBay is still the place to go. So first things first, when you're listing a guitar, when you're taking a picture of the guitar, and you'll see this hopefully on mine and people who have bought them on there, make sure the guitar is the focal point of the image. You don't want in the background pictures of stuff on the wall. You don't want the guitar sat on, I don't know, on your bed that's unmade, or against anything that makes it look busy. Anything that gives the impression that your house is a state, or you are a state for that matter. I see pictures of guitars where people take them in the garden and they're laying on the grass. Since when does a guitar belong on grass, for crying out loud? To me, that suggests it's mucky, it's dirty, it might got wet, and why would you even do that? I see pictures of them with all the baby clothes and the baby toys behind. That tells me anarchy. Babies equals mucky fingers. Your guitar's probably mucky. If you look at the background of where something is, if a person's place looks like it's a mess, that makes me feel how I might think that person's looked after their guitar. I'm sorry, but that's the way it's judged. So make sure your guitar is in a clean, tidy place that is as well lit as you can get it to be, and the guitar is the focal point, nothing else. Take a picture of the whole guitar so people can zoom in. Take a picture of the bridge closely, if the pickups are branded so people can see that. Take a picture of sort of at 45 degrees along the guitar so they can see the grain in the wood. Take a close-up of any imperfections, show them, don't hide them. Take a picture on the back so people can have a look at the serial number maybe if they want to. But all of those pictures as well, just the focal point of the guitar, nothing else in the picture. A white background on a nice sofa or a chair or something that's not busy, but make it obvious and clear to people. And for God's sakes, clean the guitar. Dirty finger marks all over the fretboard. You know, if you're going to sell a guitar and you've had it for years and it's mucky as all hell, take the strings off, clean the fretboard and put a new set of strings on. It'll take you half an hour to do that, and 10 quid for some strings, and it'll go a long way. Because again, dirty fretboard, filthy looking guitar, rusty bits, dust all over it, just makes it look like you don't care and you don't look after your stuff. And who wants to buy a guitar like that? I have, unfortunately. I bought some guitars that have been shabby, not good. So that's about your imagery. And then the packaging, I always use Parcel Force 48 or 24, which suggests next day or 2 days. And typically they're good to the word. It's about 13 to 16 pounds. You can pay extra for the insurance, not really worth the computer screen you're reading it on. I tried to make a claim once before, not a good process. It was a while back, mind you, maybe it's better now. So I've always taken a bit of a flyer, dare I say it, because the standard insurance is £150, and God knows even what trying to claim that has been like. But of all the guitars I've sent, I've never paid the extra insurance, and touch wood, they've all got there okay. The only time one didn't get there okay was my own fault because of the packaging, which we'll move on to next. Packaging is so important. Now, this here is a double walled box I bought specifically to send a guitar, which I now no longer need to do. And I was thinking it was £8 delivered, which is not a lot. It's reasonably sturdy. And I was thinking to myself, how are they going to send a box? You know, how's that going to go on a pallet? Or what they need, just send in a box. And it came, and you can see that it's creased, it was bent in half. Now that's not ideal, because immediately the box has got a weak point, even when it's in this position. But if you haven't got any boxes, you've got to get some. If you bought 10 guitar boxes, they would be flat packed, just as golf club boxes are. And they've got bands around them. So you need double walled boxes, you absolutely have to. First things first. And when you take the ends over, I can't bother to do this now, but I'm a stickler for the taping. Just a couple across here or one over here, it's no good. Hold the box closed properly. Don't have it slightly offset like this, look, because you're too lazy to line them up properly. Don't have it baggy, have it perfectly in line. Put 3 across here, one right down the middle and then one slightly to either side of it so it's overlapped here. On the edges, when you're doing the edge of the box here, if you tape, you've got white tape. I've got 2 different types of tape. I use brown parcel tape, and I haven't got the clear one, unfortunately. Clear tape is stronger than brown parcel tape, but brown's okay. Don't use that liberally everywhere. I've done it before. Couriers don't give a toss whether you've got fragile on it or not. It still gets thrown around. I've seen it. I worked in a warehouse. So you get your tape. So this is like 2 inch wide. 1 inch of that is going over the edge. It's going on here and over the edge. Wrap the corners in, and then you put another whole piece over the top there and a whole piece around here. So that corner, because that's where they'll pick them up. They might pick it up here, but if there's a lip, that's where a courier will pick it up. And then 2 over here, like so, and then 1 all the way round, because when this comes over the edge here, that can be picked off. Put 1 over it and round the edge. So, and you do the same on the top. But then what about inside the box? This is for an electric guitar. You struggle to get an acoustic in there. Now, in an ideal world, if you're sending a guitar, maybe kept the original box, so that is really key. If you've ever got an original guitar box, bloody well keep it, and all the bubble wrap and everything else. When you get your guitar, before it goes in this box, that needs to be bubble wrapped, and I don't mean just a couple of layers around it. That needs to be bubble wrapped to an inch of its life, round. I will put 5 or 6 layers of bubble wrap around the body, around the neck, around the headstock. Then I'll get some cardboard as well. I've got spare boxes that I keep, and I'll put cardboard around the top of the headstock and over the top and over the body, and give it like a, I don't know, a shoe or something to sit in, and I'll bubble wrap it again. Then in my actual box, the guitar doesn't sit at the bottom of the box, because the only protection it's got is then the bubble wrap you've put it in. It's just not enough. It's a relatively heavy item. So in the bottom of your box, you need more bubble wrap, or you can use newspaper if you want to, or actual packing paper. Don't leave it in strips. Make it fluffy and big and open. You can get lots of different types of packaging. It's worth buying some. It's a pain because it costs you, but you need it. Make sure the bottom of that is well padded, and then put your guitar in the box. Now, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have the guitar flat up against one side wall here and then just pad the rest of it out, because you've only got that and your bubble wrap to the guitar. It's not an absolute disaster, and I have said something like that before when I've had tight boxes. But in an ideal world, that guitar sits in the middle of the box and you pad it around, and you must not leave any gaps. There must not be any room for that guitar to roll around. There must not be any potential soft spots, because that is where it will get crushed. It must be packed out everywhere. Doesn't matter what you use. I think in the past, I've used towels. In fact, I remember buying a load of sort of small hand towels for the gym in a pack from China. It was costing me hardly anything, and I got shitloads of them, but a really poor quality. I used some of those to pack it out with. I use newspaper, packing paper, more bubble wrap. Do not leave any gaps. And absolutely, essentially, you must not have a lid closed down and not enough packing underneath, so you've got some of that. That is a massive no-no, because that will be the bit that will squash and pierce, and then you've got a hole in the top. If anything, this box should be bulging slightly, so should the lid. Push it down, tape it up properly. Once it's taped up, if you really feel that you want to and you feel better in your mind about it, which I do, and I know it's a waste of time, is get your fragile tape and put a big strip across here and all the way down there. Then you take it to the post office for your Parcel Force 48. You send it on its way. So I appreciate this is a long video, but it's really important. Bass in blue, bass line in blue. He's just asked me that I've got a bunch of guitars to sell. Can you sell them for me? I'd love to say yes, but no. It's a hassle, because the other thing is you put them on eBay, and if you've got a guitar you know is in demand and will sell for a reasonable price, start it at 99p, because you will have been like this as an eBay buyer yourself. You'll see something at 99p and think, oh, I might get a bargain. You never really get a bargain. If someone really wants, if it's a guitar that's in demand, it will go. So if I do 99p occasionally, and that would be on a 7 to 10 day auction. Other than that, I always do a 5-day auction, and I start my bidding price somewhere around that I'll be happy to accept. Let's say I've got a guitar that I really would ideally want it to go for £400, and I think it's a guitar that people like and it's likely to sell anyway. I would perhaps put that on a start bid of £299. It'll put some people off. I think I'm not getting a bargain. It's not, but other people go £299, or I never know, I might get it for £320. These normally go for £400. So you put it at £299, but you're doing it for two reasons. One, you're doing it to attract some people because it's not too high. Two, in your mind, you have to accept on eBay that you don't always come off well. Often you don't. So at least have your start bid at a price that isn't great, but you could live with if you have to. I've sold guitars before and golf clubs in the past that have just gone from a start bid, oh, Christ. But at least it was all right. In the past, when I put some things on 99p or low start bids, which I thought they would be okay, they bummed out, and I've been shiting. Another thing, if you've got the patience, list something so it ends around about the end of the month. People get paid, most of them, about the end of the month. They've got money. You're far more likely to get a decent price if you list something in the last week of a month for it to finish, around the end of the month for payday. So do that as well. And if you really want to attract people because you want to sell your gear, either put the postage will cost you £13 to £16. Just put £7.99. Maybe even do it for free. Take a bit of a hit on it if you really want to. If it's something that you want to shift, don't be unrealistic about how much things are worth. People always think something is worth more than it is. And it might be worth more to them. It's a great example for me with my Chapman guitars. As you know, I like Chapman guitars. I think they offer really good value for money. They're great guitars, but the second-hand value is not very good. The second-hand value is 40-ish% of the new value, 45 tops. Whereas a Fender, an everyday Fender will be 50, 55. Gibson's going to be more than that. Ibanez aren't particularly good either, but Chapman's aren't, they're not that good on resale. So if you're unrealistic about it, so to me, like the, hi Lucas, if you're still here, mind you, after 14 minutes, a Chapman Hybrid ML1 Pro is a brilliant guitar and was 800 or 1,000 when they first came out. They actually will sell for about $375. I see people listing for 500 quid. You're never ever going to sell it for that. You think it's worth it as the owner, and I probably would too. In my worth it in terms of, look, all this spec, that must be worth it, but it's different to what the reality of the marketplace is. So if you want to sell your gear, and another thing that I've often done, if I really want to sell something, I want to get some money back in cash flow, I'll purposely list something underneath everyone else's price and accept taking a hit on it, but get some cash flow in and just make sure it's sold. For the sake of hanging around, maybe selling it, maybe not, and waiting for 20, 30, 40 quid at most, not worth it. So I appreciate this is a long video. If you're still here, fair enough, but hopefully this will help. And yeah, any comments, let me know.